Hi folks, this is Alan at UAV Coach and Drone Pilot Ground School. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the Mavic Air 2. This is DJI's latest prosumer level drone. They started shipping these in early May of 2020, and I've been flying this for the last couple of weeks. I'm going to skip to the punchline. I am thoroughly impressed with this drone. In this video, I'm going to talk about a few reasons why. But the first thing to understand is when you look at the DJI Mavic series, this drone sits between the Mavic Mini and then the Mavic 2 Pro or the Mavic 2 Zoom. So price point and also size, it's kind of right in the middle between the smaller, more affordable Mavic Mini. I think it retails at $399. That's the base price. When you add the Fly More kit or a few extra batteries, it's about $500, maybe $600. This, when you add the Fly More kit or a few extra batteries, it's about $1,000. Base price is $799. And then the Mavic 2 Pro, I think the base is $1,599, so maybe closer to $1,700 or $1,750, $1,800 with the Fly More kit. So let's dive into the review. First, I'm going to talk about the drone, then I'll talk about the controller, and then we'll get into the software. All right, two quick things I want to point out about the controller, and the first is this gimbal cover or gimbal clamp. So you're going to take that off when you fly. It's good for storage. It just keeps this kind of fixed. If you're traveling, if you're moving around. This is the least awkward of the gimbal covers or clamps that I have seen. As an example, here's the one for the Mavic 2 Pro. It's got this little flippy, and it's kind of awkward how to put it on. They all work very well, and they're slowly getting better at sort of each model. But I like this product improvement, and it's worth acknowledging. The second thing I want to point out is right on the drone. You're encouraged to put in your own micro SD card, but you've got 8 gigabytes of onboard storage. So if you're a bozo like me, and maybe once or twice in the last few years have forgotten your micro SD card, or one time it was corrupted and it just wasn't working properly, you've got 8 gigabytes of photo and video storage right on the drone. So when we look at the remote, there are a couple things worth pointing out. So number one, you've got your 3 modes. They've changed it from P mode to N mode or normal mode, but you've got tripod mode, normal mode, and sport mode on the front of the remote controller. So compared to the Mavic 2 Pro remote controller, this is a similar design in some other models as well, where you've got it on the left side. It's kind of hard to see while you're flying. It's just harder to remember that it's there for newer pilots. They've added it right on the front, which is great. Your joysticks are stored underneath here, which I've always been a big fan of. They pop out and they screw on pretty easily. And you'll notice that there's no arms down here. So where do you actually store your phone or your tablet? How do you see what the drone sees? Well, you pop out this nifty little mount and you put it right here. And check this out. Instead of the super awkward cord that goes here and sort of fits through that hole and then somehow miraculously plugs into your phone with that controller, here it just pops out and it fits natively in here. And it's a very elegant design. It's super easy. The last thing I'll point out, also your antennas are stored up here as well, so you don't have to worry about folding and unfolding the antennas. So just a little bit of an improvement there. The last thing I'll point out is this dial, which is used to adjust the camera up and down. It's so much more smooth on the Mavic Air 2. Unfortunately, you cannot go into the app and adjust the sensitivity of this or smoothness of this, but you don't really have to because it's a little bit bigger of a dial. It's closer to the Phantom 4 controller. As an example, it's just a little bit bigger, and it's smoother. It's programmed to be a little bit less sensitive. They've muted it just a little bit. And I noticed it immediately when I first started flying, so was a big fan of that. So that's the drone, that's the controller. Let's hop into the software. All right, the drone is on, the remote controller is on. I've opened up the DJI Fly app, and I'm going to tap this blue Go Fly button. It's going to bring us into the camera view here. So for those of you who have been flying with the DJI Go 4 app and have never seen the DJI Fly app, it's a pared down version. It's a lot simpler. A little bit easier user experience, but also, take some time to get used to. I was a little annoyed the first couple times I started using it. I was like, where are all my settings? But there's a lot here. It's just presented a little bit differently. So as an example, I'm going to tap this button on the left side. It's going to take us off. Instead of having to drag my thumb or finger across the screen, I'm just going to hold the takeoff button there, and it's going to bring us up And it hasn't quite yet calculated the battery life, but a number should be popping up here pretty soon. Yep, been flying for 13 seconds, 14 seconds, so that's the flight time. And we'll get a number there in the top right that shows me approximately how many minutes I have. So right now we're in normal mode. You're seeing N mode in the top left. I can tap this in-flight text, and we can set our return to home altitude, max distance. We can say the storage should be in the SD card or internal storage. Remember, we've got 8 gigabytes of internal storage. I'm going to thrust up here these obstacle avoidance notifications. I'd like those to go away. So again, this gimbal is super smooth. As I'm thrusting up, I'm slowly panning down. And it's just a lot easier to do that kind of a shot on this drone than it is on the Mavic 2 Pro as an example. At least for me, right out of the box, this is a lot smoother. The Mavic 2 Pro, I had to adjust the sensitivity manually, but here it's just super dampened and a little bit easier to use. So, a couple things I want to point out. Number one, the settings. So top right here, I tap these 3 buttons in the top right and this opens up the settings menu. You can see it looks a little bit different, but a lot of the same stuff is here. So again, we can set our max altitude or max distance. Obstacle detection, can turn that on or off. This advanced pilot assistance system, holy Batman. There's no better way to explain how this works than to show you. So I'm gonna cut to a clip of me flying last week. This is in northern Georgia. And you can see how close I am to the top of these trees. And I'll tell you, my right thumb is pushed all the way forward. So I am trying to push the drone all the way forward as fast as it can. And it's automatically detecting the limbs and flying around them. I was feeling particularly daring. I really wanted to push this technology, and you can see how well it works. Now, is this as strong as the Skydio 2 obstacle avoidance system? No, not quite, but it's pretty amazing. I was very, very impressed with how APS works, and just wanted to kind of cut to this clip to show you. Cool. So that's APAS technology. There's some other settings here as far as your camera, what format you're in. You can choose your color profile. But that's the settings menu. It looks a little bit different than the DJI Go 4 app. Now, that's exactly what I wanted to happen. Do you see this manned aircraft detected nearby? Fly with caution. That is DJI's Air Sense technology. This is their first consumer drone with this technology. This is going to alert you if there are manned aircraft nearby. So this drone's actually equipped with ADS-B receiver. So it's going to receive signals from nearby airplanes and helicopters and to warn you of incoming traffic. Now, it's not perfect. You're not going to be able to see what altitude the aircraft is at. So the first time I started getting this notification, I was a little worried. But most of the time, I'm actually hearing the airplane above my head right now. Most of the time, it's at a couple thousand feet. It's way, way, way above the max flight altitude of 400 feet where I'm at. So, it'd be nice over time if I could see kind of helicopter versus airplane that I don't necessarily need to worry about. But still, having this safety feature in here has been really, really great. It gives me better situational awareness. You can actually, I'm in airplane mode right now on my phone, so I don't get any phone calls, but you can tap in to that icon and get a little bit more information about where the airplane's at, what direction it's coming from. It's pretty wild. So with the camera settings, I'm not going to spend too much time in here, but I just wanted to show you that you've got kind of the primary menu on the right, photo, video, quick shot, hyperlapse, pano, and then it moves to the left. So you've got these sub-menus here. So with video, I can shoot in HDR, I can shoot in slow motion, I can shoot normal 4K. With photos, I can select a single photo. I can hop into smart mode, a little bit stronger algorithms there as far as detecting landscape. So you can see, I can click on single, then I click on smart mode. It optimizes the photo just a little bit. I can shoot a 48 megapixel photo. So by default, all the photos are going to be 12 megapixels, but there's a mode where you can stitch together some photos and create a 48 megapixel photo. Then I've got burst mode, AEB mode, and a time shot. So it's pretty cool stuff here. So when I first powered up this drone, I thought that the quick shots were the only intelligent flight modes that came on the drone. Now, I love these quick shots. They're really fun, but they're pretty limiting. You kind of just tap it and let it do its thing. What I didn't realize, and I'm actually going to try and, let's see, I'm going to use this tree as an example. I'm going to throw it into sport mode so I can go over to that tree a little bit faster. Be careful not to fly over moving vehicles. As a reminder, I'm flying under the Part 107 regulations right now, and not flying directly over people or directly over moving vehicles. So do the best I can to kind of mitigate that risk. Okay, so I'm going to fly over this ball field here. And what I'm going to try and do is, let's use the pitcher's mound as the point of interest. Now check this out. So I click on this menu. There's no way to access the intelligent flight modes. This is really confusing to me. What you actually have to do is go ahead and draw a box around what you want to do. You click on Start. 3, 2. Oh, that is incorrect. So I need to go back into photo mode. There we go. I was in the quick shots mode. Let's see. I need to go to video mode. There we go. Video. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So let me explain what I just did here. You have to be in video mode, and you draw a box. And after you draw the box, it brings up these 3 focus track modes. So we've got active track, spotlight, and point of interest. So focus track, it's made up of these 3 intelligent tracking modes. And these are pretty awesome. So I'm going to start with point of interest because a lot of you might already be familiar with point of interest. It can track objects like cars, boats, other moving vehicles. I'm going to use it to track this fixed pitcher's mound. So I'm going to tap on point of interest. I'm going to tap go. And holy Batman, look how easy it is. Look how easy it is to get that going. Now I can pick up the speed here. I can tighten the radius by moving closer to that point of interest. So I'm moving forward on the stick right now. That's making me a little dizzy, so I'm going to slow it down. I'm maybe going to switch the direction here. I'm going to back up slightly. I'm going to thrust up. And I can do all of these. So in the quick shots menu, you can open up circle, and you can fly a circle around an object, but it's not as customizable as what you can do in point of interest mode. So big fan of what's possible here and how easy it is to fixate on a subject and to fly around it in a perfect circle. So I'm going to tap on stop. And I'm not going to go through active track or spotlight, but I'm just going to explain. Spotlight, I'm super impressed with. So you can keep your subject locked in the center of the frame. Actually, let me just let me go back down closer. I'll see if I can make it work. So what's cool about spotlight is you can keep the subject in the center of the frame, but you can actually retain control of the flight path. So as you fly around, it just auto-magically keeps us in the center of the frame. I'm actually going to thrust up a little bit because I just lost visual line of sight. Need to be a little bit higher so I can see that drone in the sky. Perfect. Okay.
Battery level is low. The aircraft will go to
all right. Well,
10 seconds.
We've got to come home. So that's what we're going to do. I am not going to use return to home mode. I'm just going to fly back here. And again, be careful not to fly over moving cars. Cool. So as I land this, I'm probably going to turn off this screencast. But just wanted to hop into the software and kind of show you what the differences are between the DJI Fly app and the DJI Go 4 app. And overall, very impressed with this drone. I've had a lot of fun playing with it over the last couple of weeks. Thank you.